the Honorable Baklai Temangil and the Honorable Minister Jean-Pierre Nirua, representatives of regional and sporting organizations, USP faculty, staff and students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Hisambula Vinaka, and a very good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the University of the South Pacific. I was really taken by not only the prayer that our good Reverend shared with us today, but also by his comments. And it took me back to when I used to teach a course called Culture, Imperialism and Politics. And one of the key things that I remember that I used to talk about in that, and I think although the sport is different from rugby, I think the analogies are very similar. And I used to talk about cricket and how cricket was really a metaphor for politics. And really the way in which cricket was represented by the media. And here I was really thinking about, before India became independent, they would always talk about the magic of the batsman, as if there was something special about, Indian batsmen. There was always some wizardry associated rather than recognizing the hard work that the batsmen had put in. And of course, I remember the same thing when I used to teach in Australia, that the indigenous sports people who are over-representative in Australian rules football was the same thing. There was always something about when an Aboriginal player came on the field, they would always say, oh, this is the wizard from the Melbourne football club, or this guy has magic in him, or notwithstanding or recognizing the hard work and the effort that these people had put in to get to the level they had. So, Reverend, you reminded me took me back to my teaching days, which was very nice. But USP is very proud to host the Pacific Regional Sport Forum and to open a dialogue with regional stakeholders on the design of the Pacific Sport, Physical Activity and Physical Education Action Plan. And I'm really pleased that our minister from Vanuatu is here because, of course, he used to play soccer, I'm told, not very far from here with our PS while they were both students. So you can see good sports people end up in really good positions, and they're both testimony to that. Sport is, of course, an important enabler of sustainable development under the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and sport is critical and cross-cutting component of social, economic and political development of the Pacific Island countries. Now, Nelson Mandela famously said, he said, sport has the power to change the world. And of course, if you remember that film Invictus, he said a lot about this. It has the power to unite the people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. And it's very timely that we recognize and connect with these powerful words from Nelson Mandela, particularly after South Africa's success at the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan, after their epic battle with England in the final match in Japan. Now, I think it was in this particular case, in the South African case, that connection between sport and politics is so important, given that it was the first black South African to be the captain of the team. And I think if you saw the reports on the television, the celebrations in Johannesburg particularly, but across South Africa, illustrated how important it was to bring the nation together. That for the first time, generally, black South Africans do not watch rugby. They only watch soccer, and they really participate only in soccer. But here it was a major part of bringing the nation together. And I think that victory really speaks to the power of sport. So while rugby is the national sport, of course, in Fiji, as the Reverend reminded us, and particularly the Rugby Sevens, it's been very exciting to watch this Japanese rugby team as well, which inspired Japan and to make history with their impressive performances on the field. So sport clearly helps shape our national identities, and the passion and fierce rivalry created by the Rugby World Cup is a testament to that. And of course, who could forget the very powerful win by Tonga over Australia, which was an unprecedented first, but what an exciting thing for our region. As we've already observed, we are one of only 2 regional universities in the world, uniquely placed in a region of extraordinary physical, social, and economic diversity. And building on a series of activities in recent years, our university is committed to strengthening sport-based activities in line with our new strategic plan, 2019 to 2024, and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In 2019, a Sport and Sustainable Development Coordination Committee was formed at the university to provide a holistic approach to embedding sport, physical activity, and physical education. And that coordination committee agreed on 4 pillars of action: research, learning and teaching, campus and community engagement, and regional and international partnerships. So this forum is very important as part of that dialogue. And USP stands ready to help shape the future direction of the Pacific SPAPE Action Plan and build on the evidence base that both supports the sporting sector and underpins the contribution of sport to sustainable development. We clearly need innovative solutions to tackle the region's most persistent challenges, and the dominant combination of targeted action through Pacific SPAPE Action Plan and the stronger regional coordination will go a long way towards changing the game for the Pacific region's greatest asset, which is, of course, our people. This forum provides a powerful platform for regional dialogue with an audience comprising representatives from government, including ministers and senior officials, regional sports organizations, UN agencies, crop agencies, and civil society organizations, along with technical specialists and invited guests. I wish you a very successful 3 days of dialogue, debate, and discussion. Thank you, and Vinaka Vekalevu. Thank you.